The NFL is home to some brutal plays, and some hits can only be classified as downright dirty. These are the dirtiest hits in the NFL. Charles Martin. Admittedly, you kind of have to feel bad for Charles Martin. According to Jerry McBride, a retired NFL official who had worked a game where one of the cheapest and dirtiest hits in the NFL ever took place, Martin probably didn't realize what he was doing. It was at least 20 seconds after the interception, said McBride. I don't think he had an awareness of how late it was, or that the play was over. McMahon was walking to the sideline, had relaxed, and he picked him up and smashed him to the ground. Still, the play was dirty. It took place on November 23, 1986, when McMahon had just thrown the ball. Charles Martin suddenly approached him well after the ball was released, and then grabbed him and violently slammed him into the turf of Soldier Field, resulting in a torn rotator cuff and the end of his season. In the end, Martin was suspended for 2 games, which was the first multi-game ban for an on-field incident in the NFL. Many believe that to be justified, however, as McMahon missed the rest of the season and the Bears were one and done in the playoffs. Dunta Robinson. There's no question that Dunta Robinson's hit on Deshaun Jackson wasn't just visually freaky. It was one of the worst and dirtiest plays in NFL history. Dunta was classified as a repeat offender and was caught previously for leading with the helmet and making helmet-to-helmet contact with the receiver. But it was really here in 2010 that his dirtiest hit took place.
This is a clean hit. He led with the shoulders first, the referee all out of shape.
He fully rammed into the 5'10" Jackson, who is generously listed at 165 pounds, and completely slammed him to the ground. The most frightening part of this wasn't just the hit, but the fact that both players were ultimately concussed and down for several minutes after the play. Dunta was fined and suspended for this already dirty and illegal knock. It was a solid, brutal, and dirty hit, and you almost can't help but respect the absolute damage this had to have done. Sheldon Brown. There's no question that Sheldon Brown was a monster in his own right, and he proved that he was capable of everything everyone said he was, and a bit more, when he went up against Reggie Bush. It took place in what was shaping up to be a regular game when Bush ran a punt back in and attempted to run back to the right, when Brown loaded up and came in with a completely clean and brutal hit. It was brutal, it was a bit dirty, and it seemed as if it ended Bush's season and potentially career. Bush immediately hit the ground and was traumatized for several seconds before he limped off the field.
Put on by Sheldon Brown, and Bush takes a while to get up, and now goes down again.
He did not see that hit coming.
The great part about this hit, however, was that no matter how dirty it might have seemed, it was actually entirely legal, and it's something that you don't see often enough. The fact that Brown, leading with his shoulder, squared up and delivered a hit to Bush's body rather than his head is something that current NFL defensive backs should take note of. And what really speaks to the magnitude of this hit is that even after the hit, Bush tried to get up, but just couldn't. Yikes. Jack Tatum. Some hits in the NFL are just impressive, but Jack Tatum's brutal and downright scary hit of Darryl Stingley is just plain awful. Stingley came over the middle, and Tatum, widely known for being the most solid and dirty hit of all time, hit him at the absolutely wrong angle, slamming him in a few different places. Unfortunately, this brutal hit from August of 1978 was so impactful, no pun intended, that Stingley became a quadriplegic. Tatum never actually apologized for the hit. In fact, he claimed that it was clean, and then he led with his shoulder. But many people believe that apologizing would have gone a long way. Stingley went on to become an advocate for disabled NFL players and help secure benefits for them. But he will always be linked to Jack Tatum and this tragic, dirty hit. While it was officially a fairly clean hit, many people thought that Tatum should have been capable of at least holding back a little bit. But the game is the game, right? From Charles Martin to Jack Tatum, these are without question some of the most brutal, dirtiest hits in the NFL.